Boo. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. It's your girl Lex, Big Lex, and welcome back to the Life of Lex. ¿Cómo están? How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all ate today? I had spaghetti for breakfast. So I hope y'all ate today. Y'all, I had a birthday yesterday, and now I'm 26, and I'm old. I woke up, my back hurting. Right, my head hurting. Everything just hurting. And child. Now I'm 26. I feel this pressure, this overwhelming pressure of I have to figure things out. Because when you're 25, you feel like the world is at your fingertips. That's the year when you can make decisions that are for your better good, for your career goals, whatever. Like, you still afforded the space to make some mistakes because you're just 25. You're just a baby, right? But you're 26. You ain't a baby no more. You're a big kid. You're a grown up. That shit's ghetto. But yeah. Happy birthday to me. So yeah, I've just been trying to figure out my life because people keep asking me like, well, what are you gonna do? What do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, you keep asking me the same question and I don't have an answer. Sorry. Like, can I figure it out first? That's the whole point of me figuring it out, is to figure it out. And I don't think that's how life works at all. You're not just supposed to have your life figured out. Oh, I just want to be like a doctor. Go to medical school, go to doctor school, be a doctor, right? I don't think that's how that works. Because medical school ain't easy. Doctor school ain't easy. Becoming a doctor ain't easy. Like, you got to figure out what kind of doctor you want to be. Do you want to be a pediatrician, an oncologist, orthopedist? Do you want to be a pediatrician? Do you want to be a physician? Like, you got to find your lane. You got to find what you want to do in that lane. Like, that's why the doctor takes so long. Like, people are usually old whenever they graduate medical school, I think. They're usually like 26, 27. That's old. Anyways, no, it's not. But, yeah, it's kind of hard to just pick one lane and stick to it when I don't know what my own lane is. Because I know that I'm good at multiple things. I know I'm not good at multiple things at this point. Like, I know my strengths, my weaknesses. I know what I do want to do. Well, I don't know what I do want to do, but I know what I don't want to do. And I think that's the problem for people, that I know what I don't want to do. But my logic behind me knowing what I don't want to do is that, okay, well, I've tried this and it didn't work out because I'm not there still, okay? I'm here. So why would I go back to that when I knew it didn't work for me then? And I don't want to go down that path again. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make sense for me to say, well, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Because I can do a lot of things. I will change my answer every second if you let me. And that's just going to piss you off even more. But I can tell you what I don't want to do. And that's usually how I do that, I guess. But just knowing that I have to find my own lane without knowing just what my lane is crazy. Porque ya soy grande. Ya soy tan inteligente para estar en el lugar de donde estoy. Pero yo siento que es los tiempos definitivos de mi vida. Like, I just feel like these are defining moments in my life where I have to just start making a decision and stick to it. See where that goes. Okay? And that's the hard part because I'm not good at making decisions. I have a coin flipping app on my phone, and I've had that same app on my phone, that on all of my phones, since I got my first iPhone in like 2012. When I got my first iPod, I'll say. So, I mean, I'm not good at making decisions. I'm not even good at flipping a coin. That's why I have a coin flipping app. Okay? I'm good at talking to people. That's why I get in front of this microphone and talk to myself. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah. Y'all. Funny story. So I had an interview today. And the lady asked me like, so let's say you have a business and you could have like what the business is doesn't matter for you. But if you could have someone like a celebrity work for you, who would that be? And y'all already know who the answer was. Like, I just basically told her like Chiquis Rivera, like, and she was like, oh, I don't know who that is. Tell me about her. And I was like, well, funny that you ask. Like, her work ethic is amazing to me. Like, the story behind her life, how that like gives more depth to her work ethic, inspires me. So, I mean, yeah, I would want her to work for me. Let's get it, girl. Like, teach me something new. Please, friend. Okay? And I hope that lady looks her up. But really, if that's who I would want to work for me, if I had a company that people could just work for. I'll just say if I was 15, my answer would have definitely 100%, 11 out of 10 times would have been Beyonce. Like, let's not even play. I would have definitely just said Beyonce. And when she asked why, I would have just said because she's Beyonce. But now that I'm older, I'm realizing that, Beyonce is Beyonce because she's Beyonce. Like, she's who she is because she put in her time. She had proper training. She had this, that, and the third. Like, that's been her whole life. Like, I would be amazed if she wasn't in her, like, if she was not who she is today, I would be seriously amazed. Because that's her thing. That's her lane. She's been in it. Okay? But there's not a lot of depth behind it. Because, I mean, if I had a big old house like she had, 2 parents in a household, right? If I had the privilege that Beyonce had, I would probably be in a different place in my life right now too. Duh. But I didn't come for that. Or I didn't come from that, okay? Because I barely saw my dad, right? It's like most people. I used to be at home alone all the time. My mom had to work. She had to make decisions that weren't the best at times. And then I also had to spend time with no parents. No, like I had a guardian, But nobody to tell me, oh, well, you need to take a shower and go to bed and this, that, and the third. I was staying up till whenever I felt like it, doing whatever I felt like, because at that point I was 16. I was almost an adult. I didn't need much supervision. And that's probably why now I'm not used to just making big decisions, because I didn't have to for a long time. Like, until I got from 16 till 18, I didn't really have to do much besides exist and go to school. Right? Like, before then, when I wanted to work, I couldn't get a job. Because who's going to hire a 16-year-old with no connections? Nobody. You don't know anybody at this McDonald's. They're not going to hire you over here. Like, in a small town, you got to know somebody that knows somebody to get you in the door. And that is annoying. And so, yeah, by the time I got 18, my child support ended because I turned 18. Because my dad was paying child support. And I had to get a job. And I got the closest job I could get. And it was between me, a fresh 18-year-old with no record, and a lady with kids and a record. And they gave me the job, even though she probably needed the job more than I did, just for me to work there for 4 months until I went to college. And so sometimes when I was given positions, like just regular jobs, like, because I'll say my first job was at Dollar General, all right? And, you know, you're working with people with all different age groups. And some people making the same thing as you, maybe $1 more, trying to feed a family. And even then, I was like, this ain't enough. And when I got to college, sorry, y'all. It would have, like, I could have just ended the episode and started over again, but this was my third take, and I'm not doing that. So sorry for that little interruption. Phone was going off. Okay, I had to answer that. Anyways, back to what we were talking about, because I honestly forgot. Anyways, subject change. Y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to be more careful about the decisions you make in life. Okay? Oh, I remember what we were talking about now, my childhood. In my late adolescence. This goes back to making better decisions, right? So, I think I left off, I was getting to college. When I went to college, I was working at the school I went to. And the job I got was just front desk, scanning people's IDs, right? I figured it was easy money. They were paying $7 an hour. Something like that. I think it was $7.50, which was more than minimum wage, which was $7.25. So I jumped on it. You hear me? And they were hiring just about anybody. So that was a position made for me, if that makes sense. It was made for college students who were already in the school, you know, living on campus. Because I could just work in my dorm. I'll just go downstairs, clock in. Here. Just sit there, scan people's IDs. Not really scan their IDs. I would just look at them at that time. Because they hadn't updated what they wanted to do with that part. Because when I got to school, it was lit, okay? It was lit. Every weekend, from Thursday to Monday, getting emails all weekend, shooting over here, armed robbery over here, another armed robbery over here, shooting over there. It was getting a little dangerous, and things happened. I think one of the students was don't want to just say the R word on here because I don't want them to like, get my show out the way. I don't want to raise no flags, but there was an incident that happened with a student and a bunch of guys, a female student and a bunch of guys, and they decided to beef up security. And at first they had like grown people security, like a security team in the dorms, and it was very uncomfortable. Like, I feel like I'm being policed, right? And I think they got the memo and they changed it and offered it to the students. So when I got the job, it was perfect. Like, I loved it. And then I got promoted, and I just, like, the job was made for me. I loved it. I would have stayed had I not stayed or had I not quit. I would have stayed if it hadn't have gotten stressful as it did, because my supervisor at the time, but we ain't gonna talk about her because I have mentioned her a couple of times, and she don't need no more of my airtime, honey. But yeah. But then when I quit that job, I went to go back to work at Dollar General, and I only worked there 2 days because, for one, I was working with a lady and she had kids that she was trying to, take care of and feed and provide for. And as hard as I was working, she was working just as hard, and the store was busy. So when I get to work the next day, my manager's like, oh, well, the store was dirty, you didn't clean, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And I'm like, I literally didn't even take a break. I don't even think I took a bathroom break, okay? That was my last day. Because what do you want? If you want a clean store, hire more people so that way the 2 people you have aren't stressed out and trying to clean the store, because customers get demanding. And even the customers were just looking at me and telling me like, oh, I see big, like one customer specifically, he told me, he was like, oh, I see you being an entrepreneur, going to school for business. And at that time I was going to school for math, I think. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But he was right, because that's what I finished school in, business. But yeah, it's just like some things, you're working with people that have different work ethics. They're working towards different things. And so that makes work environments uneasy. It makes work ethic unequal, to be for real. Because if I'm working just to have play money and you working to feed your family, I'm not working as hard as you. Like, it's play money. Does that make sense? But that's when I was young and needed play money. Now I'm older. I need real money, not to play with, but to pay with. And the job expectations are just the same. Like, you want to stress out the few people you have instead of just delegating the tasks between more people or paying more, because it's 2024. Everything's expensive. And you can't expect a work ethic that doesn't match up with the payroll. Anyways, I ain't gonna get all into that because that's more political and that's not what we're doing here. This is more emotional. So, I was feeling guilty, I guess, this morning because I didn't want to. Okay. So, past couple of conversations with my therapist, she was like, oh, well, you need some money in your pocket. What's around you? And I told her the options. She was like, okay, well, apply to both. of those options. And in my mind, they weren't options that I wanted at all. They weren't even on my radar. It was just the first thing within a 2-mile radius. And when I told her that I didn't want one of those options, when I didn't want both of those options, she told me I was insane. She said to turn down a job when you don't have a job is insane to me. And I was like, oh, okay. So it made me feel like, well, if I don't take the job, then I'm insane. Like, what am I doing with my life? But it didn't come across to me then, what came across to me now, that I shouldn't just sign up and apply for a job that I don't want in the first place. And then pretend like I want it, and then not like just show up and act like I would like it, because I'm not a fake it till I make it type of girl. Okay? I'm gonna be 100. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not coming back. I learned my lesson about repeating cycles. Like, if you don't like your job, quit. Find another one. But don't just keep showing up and acting like everything's all hunky-dory, knowing good well you hate the job and you hate everybody there. Because it's going to show. Like, my last job, I loved it for a while. Not loved it, but I mean, I was cool with it. I was doing my thing. I didn't mind. And I was doing, like, above and beyond. Just because. But then they moved me to a different location, and when they moved me, that's when, like, more problems started coming in. And it was more like both-sided, because I was having a problem with my level of consciousness, because I pay attention and I pick up on things. I'm observant and I'm inquisitive. I'm going to ask questions, right? And I'm also waiting for you to slip up and tell me what I need to know without you knowing that I needed to know it, and without me knowing that I needed to know it. Like, it just came up. I'm like, oh, everything makes sense now, right? Because when I first started, I wasn't aware that everybody was family. But then as I was, like, kept working, realized that everybody was family. Like, they are family, familia, okay? And I obviously was not. Like, you could walk in the room and tell I had no relation to the family. And so I found myself, like, putting pieces together, like, noticing things in other people's behaviors, noticing things in my behavior. Like, at first I was all cool and laughing, and then it became like I was trying to be cool and keep everybody laughing, just so it's not awkward, because we were always so used to just being cool and laughing, and then we weren't. Things got weird, and I was like, I can't do the weird. I will leave. I really don't even want to be here. But what we're not going to do is the weird, okay? And so I was trying my best to make it work. But at the end of the day, I was just like, every day I was just like, I don't want to come back here. I don't want to come back here. And eventually I just said, I'm not coming back. And that was that. So, like, as I got older, I just had to realize that it's healthy to let things go that aren't serving you, but it's equally as healthy to not pick up things that aren't healthy for you either. because now that I've been in that pattern and got myself out of it, I can notice it from a mile away. And why would I sign myself up for the same pattern when I already know what the outcome is? Either it's going to bury me or I'm going to dip. Those are my two options. And I'm not going to let it bury me. I'm not here for that. But if you're not careful, it will. Because, like, anything you put work into, like whether it be a job, a relationship, it's either going to bury you. If it's an unhealthy pattern, it's either going to bury you or you're just going to have to leave it what you got. And in a relationship, my last relationship, both things happened. It buried me and I had to leave what I had. And those are two very remarkable decisions that I've made in my life, because after I let it bury me, I had to dig myself back up out the ground, for one. But then I was also faced with the fact that I could either stay in this roller coaster or I could just pack up my things and put them in my little blue car and leave. And I packed my things and put them in my little blue car and left. And I've done that twice in my life. In the same car. And it doesn't feel good to leave the things you worked for. Because I had my own apartment. I had furniture, food. Like, everything I really needed, but I had to leave it. And I had to leave it not because I wanted to, but because I had to save myself from getting buried again. Because that relationship took a lot out of me. Not gonna hold you. And I feel like I don't talk about it enough. So now we're going to do that, since we're already almost 30 minutes in. And if you made it this far, then bienvenidos. Y gracias. So I'm going to do this part in español. Porque quiero. Y porque puedo. Entonces, mi ex marido y yo vivimos juntos. Conocimos porque éramos vecinos. Qué bárbaro, ¿no? Like, éramos vecinos y conocimos cuando yo estaba caminando con mi perrita. Y ella me preguntó cuál es su nombre. Y yo dije, Lobita o Loba. Y yo me dije, ¿sabes qué eso es de español? Pues claro que sí, yo puse el nombre. Y desde ahí empezamos a hablar y saludarnos cuando nos vimos. Y un día me dijiste, pues, ¿quieres cenar conmigo? Y yo dije que sí. Y por dos meses yo esperaba. Y luego me pregunté a otra vez. Yo dije que sí otra vez. Y nos fuimos. Y yo no sé, de verdad, pues en el principio yo me enamoré. Porque nadie me trataba así, nadie me invitó a cenar. Y nos fuimos. Porque los muchachos americanos siempre dicen, pues, vamos a cenar. Y luego no tienen dinero, no tienen carro, no tienen nada, eso y eso y eso. Y no vamos a ningún lado. Pero con mi ex marido, pues, nos fuimos y divertimos, bailamos. Y fuimos a un restaurante que convierte en una discoteca en la noche. Fue un restaurante mexicano. y pues tocaban música español y estábamos bailando y había una canción, se llama Yo no sé mañana, de Luis Enrique, yo creo. Y pues yo ahorraba el canción en mi teléfono y pues eso fue nuestra canción. Y pues yo me enamoré, pero se fue bien rápido porque los problemas empezaban de que él tenía, pues él tiene hijo y la mamá de su hijo, yo no sé, no, tal vez no me gustaba, no me querían, yo no sé, pero eso es cuando empezaste los problemas. Y yo siempre tenía una duda de que pues él debe que estar con ella, porque sin importar sus problemas en su relación, pues tenían un hijo y yo estaba en el camino de criar ese niño. Entonces yo siempre sentía como una estorba y eso me afectó. Y luego, hace un año, pues un año después que conocimos y fuimos a cenar, estábamos juntos y él vivía conmigo. Y él tenía, pues la mamá de su hijo tenía problemas con sus hijos que tenía y mi ex marido quería agarrar a su hijo y agarrar custodio de su hijo, pero necesitaba papeles. Entonces cuando llegaron sus papeles, yo le leí su certificado de nacimiento, ¿cómo se dice? Y decía que su edad que me dijo no era su verdadero edad. Y yo, en ese momento yo quería que ir, pero él necesitaba mi ayuda, entonces yo me quedo y planeamos de tener una familia. Entonces, unos meses después, yo salí embarazada y 2 días después de entrar eso, yo perdí el bebé. Y eso me puse mal, porque yo planeaba, yo quería un bebé, pero fue por las razones equivocadas, de verdad, porque yo quería ser mejor que la mamá de su hijo, yo quería ser mejor mamá que posible, que las demás, y no fue porque yo quería ser mamá o de que yo quería convertir mi amor en una vida real, una persona chiquito, una bebecito. Y pues perdí el bebé y yo traté de portar normal después, pero luego se me chingó mis emociones porque debería que llorar, estar en luto, así, porque a veces tenemos sueños, tenemos aspiraciones en la vida. Y cuando eso se fue, se acabaron o algo, se terminaron, pues hay que yo no sé, pero eso me afectó porque yo no quería que las cosas pasaran así. Yo no pensé que las cosas iban a pasar así, pero tampoco si yo salí embarazada, se quedó con el bebé, pues mi vida iba a ser peor, tal vez, porque no sabemos la gente con quien acostamos. No sabemos. Para saber a una persona eso lleva tiempo. En 2 años no puedes saber una persona enterito. No, eso lleva tiempo. Y yo no sabía quién él era, de verdad. Porque él tenía muchos secretos. Y un pasado que me dio miedo. Porque siempre me decía que, oh, pues a veces, pues gente lo buscaba por una razón o la otra. Y unas veces él tenía que esconder y eso y eso y eso. Y yo estaba pensando que eso iba a ser mi futuro de huir y esconder y todo eso. Porque yo no sabía quién era. Podría ser un narco. Yo no sabía. Tal vez un loco. Tal vez. Yo no sé. Pero yo sentía que yo tenía que salvarme. Porque si alguien lo iba a buscar, iban a encontrarme primero para llegar a él. Y yo no quería ser con quien se encontraran. Entonces yo me fui, porque no estábamos juntos, pero yo lo amaba. Y yo no sé si iba a cambiar, iba a decirme la verdad, yo no sé. Entonces yo tenía que ir con que yo sabía. Y eso fue no fue mucho, porque me decía unas cosas, pero no la verdad, yo creo. No lo demás de la historia. Yo sabía unos pedazos de su historia, no todo. Y yo, en contrario, yo lo decía todo. Porque cada vez estaba un minuto de silencio, yo tenía que hablar. Y yo me decía que yo, pues, cuando yo era niña, eso me pasaba. Y cuando yo tenía este año, pues, eso me pasaba. Porque yo lo amaba, yo quería que él me sabía enterita. Pero no fue igual con él. Entonces yo no podría quitar unas dudas o las otras. Yo no podría sacarlo. El ansiedad que yo tenía. Y yo me dijiste que pues mejor que me voy. Y no me voy a mirar atrás. Y algunas veces yo quería mirar atrás, pero yo sabía que no era sana o saludable. E iba a ser la decisión equivocada. Pero cada día, yo pienso que, pues, ¿qué voy a hacer ahorita? ¿Qué voy a hacer con esto que me aprendí de la vida? ¿Qué voy a hacer con mi historia? Porque por mí, siento que todas las cosas que me han pasado fue, fue cosas de niño comparada que las cosas que me pasaban en esta relación o en... Yo no sé si pueden escuchar a mi estómago, pero suena como una tormenta. Fue spaghetti, pero yo no sé de qué voy a hacer con mi historia, con mi vida. Pero lo más que yo hablo, que me saco, lo mejor va a ser. Porque si nadie me cree, estúpido. Pero yo tengo mi verdad. Yo no tengo nada que mentir. Yo no tengo nada que esconder. Porque ya soy grande y yo tengo que tener culpa de mis acciones, de mis errores. Y con esto yo les dejo con unas palabras de mi amor, porque ya no sé qué hacer, pero yo los amo. Like, I love all my listeners, and I don't know what's with y'all, but y'all don't be letting me know that y'all listen to me, and I don't like that. Like, give me a shout out, message me, DM me, like, do something. Like, do something. But anyways, follow me on all the socials at I Want to Lex You Up. And love, peace, and chicken grease. See y'all for more troubles and maybe better days. Hopefully better days. But yeah. Bye.